Today we have a very extra special guest.
I am Tatiana Ponce _ Tatiana Ponce, Ponce on Instagram. One half of Polivia. My other half is, for once, not in the same video that I'm in, but follow her on IG, Olivia. Follow our initiative, Mad Love Tour. If you don't know, you will know.
She is a community organizer network, and I'll be doing a whole nother segment on what Mad Love Tour is. Follow the Mad Love movement, okay?
Yes.
But today, right, we're continuing our Hispanic heritage theme, and today's segment is about mental health.
Yep.
So, I wanted to bring somebody in who describes herself as a mental health advocate. Yes, right?
Yes.
To talk about mental health. I decided to do this segment because I think just in Black communities and Hispanic communities, mental health is not something that is talked about a lot or acknowledged a lot. And it's something that's so important to our generation because I think we're the ones who are kind of becoming more advocates for it.
We're breaking the generational curses.
Generational curses, generational trauma.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know the phrase, or I didn't understand the concept until probably like last year. What like generational trauma meant.
Yeah.
And then once I like actually understood it, I was like, wow, like that is so real. It's like a cycle. Like I know like my parents went through their trauma, and I could go back into my childhood and see how their trauma impacted my childhood.
Yep.
Like what were the effects, or how did they end up taking it out on us?
Absolutely.
Without them really even wanting to, or even probably knowing that this is what they were doing.
Absolutely.
You know?
No, I feel that for sure. You know, I always say that, you know, my mom and my stepdad were in survival mode. And not the fact that, you know, we had everything we needed, but they had to work in order to get that. So I was the only child for 14 years. When being an only child and then having parents who had to make sure that we were well taken care of, I'm pretty sure that there was moments where, you know, they were less attentive and I spent more time by myself, and, you know, I had to deal with, I said to my mom maybe 2 years ago, not even, I would say maybe a year ago, and I was like, you know, I think I got abandonment issues. And she was like, what? And I was like, I think I got abandonment issues. Like, and I noticed it because if I felt like someone was leaving me without like me like consenting to them leaving, like even a relationship, like getting, like there becoming a breakup, I would like feel like I was being left, I'm alone, I gotta figure it out, I don't know, like it felt like I was in a dark room by myself. And I know that it definitely, you know, aligned with my childhood. Like, wow, I'm by myself, I gotta figure it out, I'm not asking a lot of questions. Like I don't know if me and my parents had that relationship to where I got to ask the questions that I wanted to ask. One, because maybe they were working, and two, because I just generational trauma. Okay, the reason why generational trauma I feel like is very important in just mental health. If you don't deal with your own shit, your kids are going to have to deal with their own set of trauma based off the fact that you didn't deal with your own trauma. So it's like, I feel like it's my responsibility to figure out where my deep-rooted issues lie so that I can address them head to head. So the way that I do that is pay attention to my body, pay attention to my thoughts, as simple as my body language, how my body feels. If I'm tight in the chest or tight in my, like my stomach's get tense, or if my shoulders tighten up, or I just pay a lot of attention to my body language to then acknowledge what triggered it, to then tie it to what trauma may have, you know, caused that. So it all sounds like a lot, but when you make a conscious decision to just be in tune with self, you'll literally start to recognize certain things about you. So the one thing for me is, if I'm tight in my chest versus tight in my stomach, my chest means I'm like having like a trigger that someone might have done to me that made me feel like something similar to a childhood, and I like it's like an anxiety, and I like want to react, or I don't know how to react, but I can feel that. Versus if it's in my stomach, I know that it's like a spiritual thing, and I'm either like, that's like God telling me to do something or not to do something. And again, all came with life and me just trying to like figure out me, because ultimately my goal is to be the best version of myself for my kids, so that they get to know what a healthy person looks like. So yeah, I feel like I rambled a lot,
but you made some points.
That is where I'm at.
But you made some points.
That's all that matters.
That is all that matters, because for me, I think that it's such a journey with mental health. Like, it's not something that is just one quick fix and you're done.
No.
Because like, I feel sometimes triggered and reverted back to where I was, but then I have to kind of bring myself back to, okay, you have learned these coping skills, you have learned this about yourself, and that's what you need to pull from your bag of tricks, right?
Absolutely.
To bring you back to where you know you are supposed to be at.
Absolutely.
I know, like, for me, I definitely didn't start taking my own mental health serious until last year. And it's like, I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology.
Right.
So I know all these concepts and I know all these things and theories, but I never tried to help myself in a way I tried to fix other people because I was broken.
Absolutely.
So it was like, after hurting myself trying to fix
a
people,
natural thing, yeah.
because I was broken and I didn't realize that for so long. And then I got into a serious relationship, like my first relationship, and then I start seeing the generational trauma in that. I start seeing my mother, and then what my mother made me feel, what her mother made her feel.
Right.
You know, so it was a lot of awakening that I had to do. And then it all, like, it basically, like, shit hit the fan. And I was left with nothing, and I felt like I was at the lowest. That's definitely probably been my lowest, because I had like a whole panic attack from stressing about stuff that I could have solved, but I was just so into it that I wasn't trying to find a solution. So it hit the fan and I had a panic attack, and then I just felt at my lowest. It was like, where do I go from here? There's nothing for me to live for. There's nothing for me to do in life. Like, I felt so stuck. And then Cyrus was like, you definitely just need to go to therapy. It was like, and I've always been an advocate for therapy, but somehow I wasn't going to therapy.
Nah, that's my life. Absolutely.
So I'm like, okay. And I remember making that call to the therapist that I found, a clinical social worker who lived like 10 minutes, whose practice was like 10 minutes away from my house at the time. And I called and I was in tears, leaving a voicemail telling her, I need to see you. I need to schedule an appointment. I need to come in and talk to you. And then she called me. We did a phone interview and I was still in tears.
Yeah.
Trying to tell her, like, I really need this. And then, you know, that was like a whole year. It really wasn't until like 2 Saturdays ago or 2 Fridays ago that she was like, Anna, I think you're ready to cut therapy. She was like, I think that you know how to handle situations and you've been doing a really good job this whole year. It's been more than a year, like a year and a half kind of. And we need to let you go. She was like, I don't think you need me right now. So like, I'll be here. Part of me was like anxious or afraid of like just letting go, like not going to therapy.
It's like a level of it's like a sounding board. So I think that what she was saying is, you know, because I'm a little therapist.
Go ahead.
I don't have a PhD, but I got a PhD. But what I think that she was probably noticing is you're fully capable to make a decision, but you were probably coming back to her to ask her to affirm you in the decisions that you made. And she needed you to cut the tie so that you could affirm yourself and create a good habit in that. Like, I made a good decision. I can tell myself that I made a good decision. I don't need to make a list of all the decisions that I made and then bring them back to her and go, so
yes.
That was good, right?
Yes.
That was good, right?
Yes.
It was literally she needed you to create that habit of you are fully capable and have everything that you need to make a good decision. You can do all the things to serve your best self, and once you keep making good decisions that align with the boundaries that you've set and that align with the way that you've decided that you want to be treated, everyone else is going to then show up as that. And the people who don't show up as that, just not for you. But I'm affirming what your therapist, I think, was telling you, in the sense of you can trust yourself.
Basically.
Like
it was just me being anxious or having anxiety about
you know what I just
not
learned?
letting her go.
I have to send you this thing, but Justin Bieber saying never would have made it with Sunday service like Kanye's West little big choir, and he was like, he has this list on his phone. It was like all about like anxiety, like where anxiety would stem from, and it's like 7 or 9 things or something like that. But the one thing that made sense and that hit home with me was indecision. And indecision creates anxiety, and it's like when you are indecisive, it's like a lack of certainty in self, or a lack of like trust in self that you can make a good decision for you or the people around you, or even just being okay with the fact that it might be the wrong decision, but it's like lesson learned.
I'm still working on that.
Yes.
Because I feel like it's so hard for me to make decisions on small things that I'm afraid to make a wrong decision. So I'm like, okay, instead of me making it, why don't you make it? Like when they be talking about girls never know how to pick food.
Yeah.
It's like, but what if that's not what you want?
Me and Saya just had this whole conversation the other day because we were on our way to get food, and we always she was like, we was naming all these places. I was like, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. And then she was like, why do we always gotta have the best meal all the time? Like, why can't we just have something good? Like, and I was like, okay, you're right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but even that, like, in that moment, like, is there a best decision?
Right.
Like, that probably doesn't exist. Like, you know what I mean? If we don't know what we want, it's probably because it just it's not that big of a deal. It's not like
really not.
Picking what you want to eat is not like going to buy a car.
It's not like a lifelong.
No, it's so temporary.
Effect. Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you eat something you don't like, whatever. After that, eat a bowl of cereal. Like, it'll make it all better. It's like you're putting your decisions on a pedestal that they don't belong on.
Yeah.
Bring them down.
Bring them down.
Bring them down here.
I'm gonna have to work on that because I try to put it off on other people.
No.
You make it.
But like, even
not on me.
In such a subconscious way, like you have to think about like, if I'm allowing someone to make a decision for me, it's like creating, again, that's teaching them how to treat me. And if I go, you can pick every time, then they're probably going to continue to do that for me without my consent, without my permission. And then somehow you end up in a controlling relationship. I don't know. That might have went too far, but I'm just saying.
It could end up there though.
Yes, absolutely. Don't let anxiety run your life.
Definitely don't let anxiety.
Don't let
because
your mental health.
when you let it run your life, it literally feels like the end of the world with everything. Like, I remember right after that panic attack, I would have anxiety all day from when I woke up to when I went to sleep. Like my stomach, like physically, and I hate it. I was like, this is never gonna end. Like the only way it's gonna end if I die. That's the only way it's gonna end. That's how anxiety had me feeling.
You know what I will tell you about, because just for viewers' sake, not only is my dad Hispanic, but my dad took his own life 2 years ago due to his own mental health issues, and at that point, that's when I decided to take my life seriously. Right. And I don't want to just say my mental health, but my life as in general. Yes. As a whole. So what I will tell you is, it forced me to go into like, who am I? Am I a product of my father? Really unpacking all of my issues so that I could just become the best version of myself. And in that, I really had to go head to head with my depression and my anxiety. Like, it was a war every single day, but because I chose my mental health above anything else, it was literally, I can't allow these emotions to take precedent over who I'm called to be. So I had to, like Anna said, I had to bring that down. My emotions, my anxiety, my depression, I removed it from the pedestal that it always existed on. So it's like I take precedence. Who I am and what I'm called to do is literally the most, that is the priority over everything else. So it's a fight all the time.
And it's in your mind, and it's like, we know that it's in our mind, and it's literally not how it is in the physical world, but it's also hard not to even just acknowledge,
Yes.
that yes, it might not be out here physically, but in my mind it's as real as me walking like down the street.
Absolutely, but even you saying that, like, it's not real until you like breathe life into it, until you speak on it. Power is in the tongue. So it's just like, I speak good over your circumstances. I always say that, my circumstances don't define me, because if I allowed them to, I probably wouldn't have got as far as I have. So it's speak life over your situation. If wake up every day and go, today is going to be such a great day. Today is going to be a great day. The anxiety will not rule my day. I don't even know what anxiety feels like. I'm going to, just saying those things to yourself, speaking them aloud. One, because even if you don't believe it initially, you will. You will definitely believe that. When someone says something negative to you, you're going to remember that this morning you said, I'm having a good day, so that's their problem, not mine.
Right. It's like, it's crazy to think that when you're feeling it, it's like the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you surpass that experience and you overcome it, or you tackle it, or you take it head on,
Mm-hmm.
it gives you so much to reflect upon.
Absolutely. I mean, I say it all the time, maybe not all the time, but the times that I need to hear it, that, I've got through past 100% of my bad days.
100%. And at the time, it's like, this is the worst. I'm at the lowest.
Right.
Nothing can make me feel even worse. But yet here we are, and here we are knowing that there are going to be other things that are going to come up in our life.
Yep.
Because it's just a part of it. And we acknowledge that we are going to have more battles to confront. We are going to have more healing to do. We are going to have to do it, but I think for me, can say I'm at the point where I know that I have the skills and the capability, the support, and just the environment to be able to overcome it.
Absolutely. I mean, God said the weapons wasn't going to form. He said they wasn't going to prosper, though. So, I mean, you gonna face some things, but stay prayed up, stay attached to your purpose. Just really stay grounded in, who you are, because people can't come for the things that you've already made peace with. And if you've made peace with, something that's happened in your past, your triggers, your traumas, they can't root in your life. They can't root in your life if you've already made peace.
That's one of my words on here, peace.
Yeah.
On my wall, because once you get to that peace, for just a situation, because we're not going to have peace in all aspects of our life.
Absolutely.
Something is always going to feel a little unbalanced, but when you feel that peace in what was most pressing to you, it just feels so good. It's like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
I did it. It was terrible at the time, and even now that I think about it, when I reflect on my experiences, sometimes I get emotional and I cry, but it's not because I'm sad that happened to me, but I kind of feel the emotions that I felt at the moment.
You can still reflect. It's almost like it's not as deep as when you went through it, but it's you can still relive those emotions. They're very real. And I feel that's also part of being an empath. I can literally be like, yo, I remember that day. I felt crazy. And I think even sometimes my tears are wow, it makes me sad that I didn't love myself then as much as I love myself now. It's why would I even do that to myself? But it still feels real sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. So one thing that I know, it's crazy because it's been a whole journey of me just putting all the pieces together, right?
Yes.
So a lot of my trauma was during my childhood. So for the longest, right, in my career, I was like, I do not want to work with kids. I only want to work with adults. And then here I am working with kids who have experienced a whole lot of trauma that I didn't necessarily experience the same kind of trauma they did. But it kind of has become full circle for me to realize that the reason why I didn't want to work with kids was because I hadn't acknowledged all of my childhood that I felt at the moment or that I went through. And it wasn't until I
even feeling incapable because of your childhood to help somebody
another child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like a puzzle in my mind that I've had to put together. And it's taken, for me, now I can say, like, it's taken a long time for me to put those puzzles together. Because it's like, damn, I already knew this, and I knew this, and I knew this, but I never connected it.
Right.
To
like, you
help
had pieces,
myself.
but you never, put them together. Nah, I feel that. I definitely feel that. And I can see where that can be just stressful. I mean, again, I've been there in the terms of, like, why do I feel the way that I feel? Why did this person saying this make me feel like this? Why do I feel less? Why am I shrinking in this room that I know that I could dominate in? Like, you know what I mean? I know that it was all of, when I asked myself questions like that, they were always, in alignment with things that I haven't dealt with or didn't acknowledge or didn't even know that I needed to acknowledge from, my past or my childhood, So I can even say that, again, childhood is where we create habits and agreements with ourselves that carry into, like, our teenage years, our adult years. And then when we become cognitive enough to, like, notice that my ways are creating, it's like self-destructing, that's when we can decide if we want to do something to help ourselves. And it's a lot of work to break decades of, like, habits. Like, I had to make
decades, generations,
yes, literally
a cycle,
centuries of, like, just work that was passed down from my great grandmother to my grandmother to my mom now to me. And I have to it's a weight that I feel like has been appointed to me, but that I'm happily taking on. Circumstances don't define you at all. Be better than what you like. You can make something out of nothing all the time. People don't look at broken crayons and say they can't color nothing.
They melt them together.
They melt them together or use the corner of the butt to paint around, to color around the edge, because you gotta do what you gotta do. Make something out of nothing. Decide that you want to be your best self. Decide that you want to live your best quality of life and do anything that you possibly can to get there. Your circumstances don't define you. 2, people cannot come for the shit that you've already made peace with. I can't feel attacked at something that I've already concluded about myself.
It's above me now. It's above me now.
So, people can't come for the shit that you've already made peace with. 3, healing hurts more than the pain. You are going to be stretched. You are going to be broken down. The habits that you have to literally unlearn them and relearn things. You have to unlearn talking bad about yourself and relearn talking good about yourself all the time. All the time, literally. When my hair changes, sometimes I'm like, ooh, girl, love your new hair. And then I go back to this bun, I'm like, But I have to relearn in that moment to say good things about myself. It's not, the healing process is hard. Again, you're going to go, it never ends.
Literally
you have to go head to head with your anxiety, your and depression all the time, emotionally, mentally, and physically. But it's also very important to let your peers know, your mom, your dad, your friends, your family, know what your red flags are. So even when you don't notice that you're sinking, they do, and they can help you. So do the work. Put in the work. Don't stop working, because it literally never ends, but it'll become second nature. And you're just becoming the best person you can be, but not only for yourself, but for your future partner, your kids, your friends, your family, you, function way better when you're good with you, because less things offend you because you have a true understanding of who you are based off of where you came from and based off of the things that you know, like your purpose that God's told you that you're called for.
My first point is that I will talk about a little bit about my therapy journey, right? So therapy helped me gain the confidence in myself in what I already knew. So
Yes.
therapy didn't necessarily teach me something new, but it reinforced the things that I already knew about myself, that I already knew about my life, that I already knew about my trauma. And it gave me the confidence to say, I know how to get past it. I know what I need to do. And I acknowledge that I'm just giving into my fear of doing that because I'm afraid of how maybe that relationship will go afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? So that is one thing. So therapy can be in different kinds of forms. Like there's not one right form of therapy, and it's very personal to what you like, what you need, and what feels most comfortable to you. Second, it's building your support system. Because, your immediate support system is always family, but the hard thing with family is creating those boundaries for your family members who don't know how to not cross that line.
Right.
Regardless of your age. And in Hispanic communities, once you get to a certain age, it's like they don't acknowledge that you're that certain age. They're like, let me still cross this boundary. Let me still treat you like you're a child. Even though I'm always going to be your child, I'm an adult. And I think it's hard, or it's been hard, at least for my parents, to treat me
As an
adult. Like make that transition from a child living in my house to an adult with her own life.
Right.
So that's what I'm currently working on. Creating those boundaries with my family members, with people closest to me. Because I want to make them happy, but I'm also doing it at the cost of my happiness.
Right.
So that's one of the things that's the hardest, I think, for people, creating those boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries are definitely difficult because it's not a natural thing.
It's hard to say no to somebody who you are so close with.
Absolutely. But I just feel like I feel that because I feel like, a lot of my life I wanted to hear certain things from my mom and thinking it was going to make me feel better about myself, but I feel better about myself knowing that whether my mom says she's proud of me or not, I'm proud of myself. And even though she didn't say it, I know that she has a tough love mentality and she probably feels it. But I can't rely on, I can't put my importance or my validation or the way that I feel about myself, I can't leave it
on someone else.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that, again, once you get to a certain place in your healing, you'll definitely say, I love my parents. I understand you guys are the way that you are. I'm going to honor you because you are. Like, you gave birth to me and I should because y'all my parents, y'all took care of me all my life. But at the same point, it's just, like, I'm cool. Like, I don't have to share all my good moments with you. I wrote down not too long ago that, like, sharing my wins, I don't know if it's serving me anymore. And the reason why I felt that way is because I was sharing them with the wrong people. I naturally get excited about any and everything. And if somebody can't meet me there, it mutes, like, you know what I mean? It takes away from my moment. And if I have to not share in order to really, to really enjoy that moment to its fullest capacity, I can take that.
Yeah.
But
you're highly blessed. You're highly favored.
Yes.
You gotta focus on yourself. You gotta be there for yourself because you gotta be your number one fan.
Absolutely. And nobody knows why you feel the way you feel all the time or why things affect you the way that, because you're the only one that's experienced your life from your perspective.
Right.
So if nobody gets it, so what?
My third point, to not let others' expectations of you pressure you or stress you out.
Yeah. So understand that, like, there's no need to show up and prove yourself to be anybody or anything more to anybody. They're not gonna get it. When I started doing Mad Love, I remember I told my mom I wanted to write a book, and I showed her the cover of the book, and she was like, yeah, that doesn't even look like that's the cover. That's not eye catching. That's not appealing. And I was just like, all right, cool. And like I didn't feel no way because one, God placed that on my heart. Two, I'm so happy with this, the way that this looked, and I'm so certain in me and my ability to produce at a high level that like, all right, Mom, you grew up in a whole day. You read books, they got vampires on the front. I'm not writing a vampire book, Mom. So like it was just what like understanding that like my mom loves me, she gonna support me, but my mom is also not gonna, she's not gonna understand, or her belief isn't going to like be fully there until she sees it. And she even said that recently. She was like, I didn't know where you was going with none of this, but like I kind of see it, and I'm proud of you, and I still kind of don't know, but you're still going, so I'm proud of you. But I've been doing this for what, 2 years now, 3 years, like,
yeah,
I love you, Mom.
We will leave some resources for
Yes.
you guys, some readings, some videos, and of course some therapist links that y'all can
Therapyforblackgirls.com. Hit them up.
So I just want to say, make sure you guys follow my special guest, Tati I. Follow Mad Love Tour.
Yes.
They got a lot of more acts of love
we have
coming, and then you can rewind through their Instagram all of the love that they've been giving our community. And make sure you guys like and comment and share this video. And that is all from us today.
Yes, be great, y'all.
See y'all.
Bye.